Update video November 1st, Mantra Valley Studios.
2023.
We are, you're going to do NaNoWriMo.
Yeah, that's been the big thing. Every month over the last couple months, we've been picking, it's like they're not chapters. What are they? Like scenes or arcs or something from World 9, Crushed by Ruckus in the Current.
A handful of chapters.
Yeah, it's like a clump, like multiple chapters that are related to the kind of the same storyline through the story, and I'm finishing up those, kind of like revising them. Most of it's rewriting because I wrote this book 2 years ago, and the last couple weeks I've been prepped for the next novel to write during NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. So I haven't finished those scenes for that last clump, but it's very close. But instead of finishing those scenes, I went on to basically completely outline the next novel, or figure out what the next novel is, which is ridiculous because even when looking at it, I have a baking folder, a single baking folder, let alone all the other files in that, is over 76,000 words long.
Baking means?
That's kind of my scrap notes for the story. So my notes for the story are already 76,000 words long. And that's one file. And there's like a bunch else on there that are like 10,000 words long. And yeah, I just got to sort through that somehow. And that's what I've been doing loosely, and putting an outline together for the story. Yeah, this is what happens when I didn't organize these things properly ahead of time. So anytime I had ideas for it or whatever, just go into the baking folder. And now it's a complete mess. But, working on it. Just getting the loose stuff ready for NaNoWriMo. Just so I can write fast and write more. Another 50,000 words on top of that. But in order. And, yeah. But at the same time, we're going to still choose a scene for me to edit and revise and rewrite of that first book. And I'll see if how much I can do of both at the same time. Just spam words for one and revise the other. So, what did we do? We were doing this one, which is where she goes into the jungle and she calls home and casual jungle things, but I fused it with this.
Right.
So I wrote most of it, and there's I think 2 chapters, and I think it's a few of the middle chapters where meeting Remy to kind of dropping things off in the garden. I think that's the chunk that I didn't finish, and I didn't finish the very first part where she just sits down in the jungle for the first time. Aside from that, we're chatting with Gem, and slacking off, and all this other stuff, and that whole part, and calling home, and casual jungle, all that part is done. It'll probably only take me a week to finish the rest of it, but on to the next. So we were doing jungle chunks. Let's start from the beginning and see what these jungle chunks are.
I remember there was one other chunk that kind of stood out to me.
Right. Delivery depths of the jungle. Jungle 1. It says this one is circled. Oh, maybe I just circled all the jungle chunks. Because that one is not one that we worked on. Maybe that was the other one that you found interesting.
Those ones are circled? Those ones you worked?
That's the one that we just did. The very... this is the one with Habon.
That was the first one.
And then for some reason this one's circled.
Yeah.
The same way. It's the first time she goes to the jungle. She climbs up this area where Erla first goes, and then meets scouts for the first time, gets gear for the first time, things like that. And then solos a vortex. So it's the first time you get to see Pillar Reality stuff. And she does it really well, and it's easy, and she's like...
Yeah.
And then... So... Going home to a Wobby, here dies to versus Rapids. The Rapids is around jungle. Is going out to the jungle with the sisters, so Verdandi and Ilva, and they do a multi-core vortex themselves. It's the first time you see like a crossing and stuff like that. So it's like 3-person build a reality.
That would be cool too.
And I think the last, well, kind of the last jungle chunk where a lot happens in the jungle is where she goes out to Noah's Island. Is like the other main one where it's just like lots of. It's not really jungle. It's more like she's on the ocean and there's all these islands and like weird things going on. So it's not like she's in a jungle, but it's like she's out there. And then the very last one is just the epilogue where she goes out and follows Erlov and Feviech to a Gigshin. That's like the epilogue, like the very end of the story. So yeah, the sisters' jungle or her going to the jungle. Her going to the jungle is actually like huge chunks. Like there's, probably divide this because it's like she goes out there, she does a bunch of cores and stuff like that, and then ditches Ruckus, and then Ruckus shows up, she puts a bunch of cores and sails to the island, and then she's on the island and then goes to the Feviech underwater. So it's like quite a few big chunks in a row. And then the sisters one is kind of divided into two. I don't know if it's still two or if it's on one on the way I have it outlined now, but they pack up a wobbly and set out to sea. So there's like kind of the first time that they're on a float pad since arriving at the place, and then they're like sailing through the water across the ocean to places, and then they do the vortex. Yeah, there's some like slice of life jungle stuff there before they find their vortex, and they're like, we found one, and they go in and do wacky stuff. I think that, so those two, sisters, the final one, or the very first time she goes to the jungle, are the options we have here.
Yeah. Maybe the very first time she goes to the jungle would be.
Yeah, getting to see what it looks like when it's easy and simple and she knows what's going on. Or finding out what's going on. Just meet scouts. Cute. Though really, I'll just keep working on the other one first until it's finished. Maybe. Yeah. I don't know. It's NaNoWriMo.
And I'll read the previous one.
Yeah. Anyways, NaNoWriMo, writing and rewriting and revising and editing, crushed by Ruckus in the current. NaNoWriMo is for a book called In Water We Arise to Sunder, or In the Water We Arise to Sunder, or something like that. Yeah, it'll be actually like the 4th book, because I'm skipping the 3rd book, because it's mostly, like, it's about half written, and I need to fix so much stuff before I can just spam words for NaNoWriMo. So I'm skipping that one and going to the 4th one to write NaNoWriMo. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
We'll see you next month for the next update.